And so it is over. The longest government shutdown in American history has officially come to an end, for now anyways. Trump has finally signed a continuing resolution to end the shutdown. And just like I said, one side is eventually going to have to give in, and that side was the Democrats. Now, the Democrats are getting a lot of flack online because people are saying, oh, why would you guys give in? We had them right where we wanted them. Just crazy stuff. But you can't be too hard on the Democrats for signing this continuing resolution. The government was shut down for 43 days. This is the longest shutdown in history, and God knows how long it was going to continue if they didn't sign this continuing resolution. And a lot of people that are saying this are people who probably weren't affected by the government shutdown. You got to understand, people were being affected by this shutdown, mainly low-income people, like when it comes to SNAP benefits, when it comes to housing, with WIC, and then federal employees. They were furloughed, not getting paid. So it was a lot of people affected by the shutdown, and Democrats, they felt that the Republicans weren't going to give in. This shutdown could have lasted to the end of the year. I don't know. It's something about when Trump gets in office. Every time he's in office, we get the longest shutdowns. Congress can't agree on anything every time he gets in office. So they just did what they had to do to open the government back up again. Now, the reason the shutdown lasted this long is because the Democrats didn't agree with how healthcare was being handled, and they still did not get what they wanted in this continuing resolution bill. The bill does not include extensions to the Affordable Care Act, which expires at the end of the year, but there is a promise, they settled for a promise to vote on the Affordable Care Act in December. So the Republicans promised that they would vote on it. I don't know if that means anything. But anyway, we're about to go over what's in this bill, what's not in this bill, and what's coming up next. So starting with what's in this bill. So again, this is a continuing resolution bill. This is not a full appropriations bill that'll fund the government until the next fiscal year. So this continuing resolution will last until January 30th, at which point they would need to either extend again or pass the appropriations bill, or else we'll be in this situation again with another government shutdown. So January 30th, this continuing resolution will expire. But in this continuing resolution, Congress did decide to fully fund some departments and some programs, starting with the legislative branch of the government. They fully funded it until next year. Surprise, surprise. Guess what? Congress is under the legislative branch of the government. Of course they're going to fund that. That was a no-brainer. They also decided to fund the Department of Agriculture. That's fully funded, which includes SNAP. SNAP is food stamps. So it was a big deal about SNAP running out of money, and they don't want to have to go through that again. So if January 30th comes and they don't have a continuing resolution or a fully funded appropriations bill, at least SNAP is good for the rest of the year. And they also fully funded military construction projects and the Veterans Affairs. So those are fully funded. They don't have to worry about January 30th at all because they're fully funded until next fiscal year. And the bill also included back pay for furloughed workers who weren't getting paid, or workers who were working and not getting paid. So they're getting all their back pay, all the money that they would have gotten if they were working. So that's great news for them, which we already knew was going to happen. Now, everything else is temporarily funded with the continuing resolution bill. So the Department of Labor, Health and Human Services, the Department of Education, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, known as HUD, these are all temporarily funded. And they're just carrying over last year's funding amount with this continuing resolution. On this channel, we cover HUD, which handles this country's housing programs. And with the HUD budget, they're still in negotiations with that right now. There's been like 3 different proposals out there. Number one, the president's proposal, which was absolutely ridiculous. He proposed cutting it nearly in half, cutting the HUD budget in half. He wanted to fund it $43.5 billion. He also wanted to get rid of a lot of the programs, specifically the rental assistance programs. He didn't want them to be federal programs, federally funded programs. And he said the states could pick them up if they wanted to, and the federal government would provide block grants for the states to help run those programs. Crazy idea. And he also wanted to eliminate the funding for some public housing programs. He wanted to get rid of the HOME program. The HOME program is a federal program that provides grants to states and local governments to help provide housing and affordable housing to low-income people. So the president wanted to get rid of that program. And he also wanted to get rid of some homeless assistance programs. He pretty much wanted to eliminate a lot of programs when it comes to housing. Now, the House of Representatives, their proposal was a big difference from the president's proposal. They proposed that the budget be $67.8 billion, which is still cut, but is not nearly as much as the president wanted to cut it. They want to fully fund the rental assistance programs for all the existing and renewal vouchers. Now, they did propose some cuts to public housing, and they also wanted to eliminate some funding for the HOME program, but they did want to increase funding for homeless assistance programs by $107 million. Now, the Senate Senate had the best proposal for HUD. They wanted to fund HUD with $73.3 billion. That fully funded all of the rental assistance programs. And they also did propose to cut some public housing funding, but not all of it. And they wanted to keep the home program, providing it with the same funding from last year. And with homeless assistance, they wanted to increase that funding by $479 million. So they had the best proposal when it came to HUD. And right now, the HUD budget is still in negotiations like so many other departments and programs in the government. Again, these are just funded until January 30th. So they got to work those numbers out and come up with what the budgets are going to be, except for those ones that have already been fully funded. But anyway, as of now, the shutdown is over. January 30th will be here like soon, and hopefully Congress can get on the same page. And as far as with healthcare, we'll see how this turns out. Will it come back to bite the Democrats in the butt since the Republicans only agreed that they'll vote on it? What's stopping them from saying, no, we don't want to extend the affordable healthcare tax credits? But anyway, like I said, as of now, the shutdown is over. We're back to business, and make sure you guys follow to stay up to date on this country's housing news. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. And now a word from the sponsors of this video. With me being a real estate agent in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, I constantly deal with people that want to buy homes but are held back because of their credit. Whether they have bad credit or what's even worse than bad credit when trying to buy a home, no credit. And if you have no credit or very little credit history, it can be challenging to get approved. And I'm not just talking about for a house, but for cars, personal loans, even credit cards. Companies don't want to approve people with no credit. So if you can't even get approved for a credit card, then you can't do what you got to do to start building credit. Then you're just stuck. So what I recommend to potential clients or just people in general, if you have no or very little credit history and you want to start building your credit, then you need a credit card that's made for individuals in that exact situation. And that's the Atlas Rewards credit card, which is perfect for those having a hard time getting approved. This is an unsecured credit card that requires no credit history to be approved. So there's no tough barrier of entry or strict approval criteria. It's very accessible, and that's one of its best features. And the application process is quick and easy, taking about 2 minutes just to get approved. And get this, with no credit check needed. So you don't got to worry about a hard inquiry or your credit score dropping a few points. You don't have to worry about none of that. Once approved, you'll be offered a safe spending limit that's specifically catered to you and your finances. Now, if the limit is not to your liking or you think it's too low, don't worry, because as you continue to use the card responsibly, the limit will increase over time. Now, even though this card is very accessible to those with bad, little, or no credit history, that doesn't mean it's lacking at all in the rewards department. This is a cashback rewards card with the perks and benefits of some of the premium cards that's out there. You can get up to 10% cash back on over 50,000 stores, and not to mention on gas, rideshare, and subscriptions. And it's equipped with tools like Smart Pay, which ensures that you're always on top of your payments, and Smart Save, which automatically helps you save money when you make purchases. And it also includes additional protections like cell phone protection, extended warranties on eligible purchases, built-in auto rental coverage, which is what I love because every time I rent a car, I always turn down the extra rental coverage. One time I turned down the coverage and got a small crack in the windshield. Should have got the rental coverage. But with this card, you don't have to. And with all of these perks to take advantage of and the ability to build your credit at the same time, a lot of people love this credit card. And it only costs $8.99 for every 4 weeks or $89 a year with the annual plan. So if you're really serious about building your credit, be sure to apply for the Atlas Rewards card. The link is in the description. And again, no credit history needed, and you can get approved within 2 minutes.